Hello, this is Mike with Downtown Makeover, and while I'm often known for pointing out the positives of downtown, in this video I'm going to be going over the properties that are holding back downtown from its full development potential, whether that's chronic vacancy, retail configuration issues, or they're just flat out ugly and need a facelift. There are a lot of properties to go over, so this is a longer form video, so grab some snacks, sit back, and let's get into it. Let's start off with the elephant in the room, which is the row downtown, comprised of the Circus, Silver Legacy, and El Dorado. This property has reached an embarrassing state of decay with pieces of concrete falling off of it, serious need for a paint job. Looks like there's 30 years of dirt caked onto the sides of the walls and roof. There's pieces of roof that are falling off. There's a waste transfer station with garbage overflowing that faces our primary tourism corridor that smells awful when you walk by it. There's paint peeling off in very obvious places, and so much dirt caked on to the sides of this building. It needs a serious paint job and a facelift, and maybe a reconfiguration so that there aren't exposed garbage areas in our primary tourist corridor. Next up, we have the Lake Mill Lodge, which was one of Reno's largest weekly motels, which closed in October 2024 for a myriad of reasons and has been vacant ever since. This motel has a lot of development potential. I love the balconies on it, so I hope it becomes something soon. Next up, we have the E.C. Lyons building, which was built for the Oddfellows in 1908. This 5-story building actually lost its top 2 floors in a 1945 fire. This building is the recipient of a restore grant, so I'm going to withhold final judgment until that work is done, but it definitely needs that facelift. Next up, we have the Nevadan and its adjacent property. These properties are in sad shape and need a serious facelift. It's kind of sad to go back to old photos of Virginia Street and see what these properties actually looked like back in their heyday when it was the Washoe Market and Nevada Lime Company. Luckily, these properties are going to be the recipient of a restore grant to cheer them up a little bit, but I really wish that grant would actually restore the properties back to how they looked when they were at their peak. And then there is the Woolworths building. This building was built in 1965 by the Mapes family, interestingly enough, and housed the Woolworths store until 1997. This building has struggled ever since, remaining largely vacant with the exception of a couple of tenants that opened briefly and then closed. I know a developer looked at this building to turn it into residential, but backed off pretty quickly when they realized the enormous cost involved to retrofit the building. I just don't see any modern use that pencils for this building, not offices, not residential, and so at this point I think it just needs to be demolished, sadly enough. Then you have the Byington building, Reno's oldest commercial building dating all the way back to the 1870s. The upper floors have remained vacant ever since it was Harrah's executive offices, and the bottom floor has struggled to maintain a long-term tenant ever since it was Beverly's Gifts. This building is undergoing a facade improvement due to a restore grant, but it seems to have stalled out, so I hope that construction continues pretty soon and that we can get some long-term tenants in those spaces. Then you have the Pizza Reno building, as I call it, because Pizza Reno was the last tenant to actually occupy it, but technically it's called the Journal building, one of Reno's oldest structures built to house the operations of the Nevada State Journal in 1876. This building is in pretty sad shape. It's fenced off, there's garbage along the sidewalk, and it really just needs to be fixed up and have a tenant occupy it. So let's get that to happen. Then you have the Reno Savings Bank building, built in 1877 for the Oddfellows who met upstairs. The ground floor housed a series of banks, a drugstore, and a jeweler's back in the day. I never have seen this building open. It supposedly was a gift shop and even had the inventory inside of the gift shop for the longest time. It is a beautiful building. I'd love to see it open, but it is huge, so it would take a unique type of tenant to occupy it to make it successful. 210 North Sierra Street was empty when I first moved to Reno, if I recall, but was eventually turned into 210 North, a luxury two-story tall nightclub, then Metropolis, another nightclub, and then Reno Live, yet another nightclub, which closed and has remained empty ever since. An investor bought it, then was supposed to be turned into a mixed-use residential commercial project, but I believe that has fallen through, or at the very least stalled out, so now it's just sitting empty collecting dust. This is the Thunderbird Motel. I don't know when it closed exactly or why it closed, but I think it used to be a weekly motel. It's just sitting there vacant and empty now, and it has been for a few years. With our housing stock shortage, you would think that this could be remodeled into at least affordable housing or workforce housing. The Riverboat Hotel and Casino closed in 1998 for good, and it operated as a weekly motel thereafter. There was going to be a CVS that was going to go in the first floor in the 2000s. However, when Walgreens and CVS merged, they decided not to. The building has remained vacant ever since. In 2022, it was going to be turned into full-scale apartments by 2023, but the owners cited rising construction costs, and eventually the bank foreclosed on the building, and it is now up for sale, and that's where we are at today. So please somebody buy this building and redevelop it into apartments, and let's put a Trader Joe's on the first floor while we're at it. The Horseshoe Club, I could not find an exact date that it opened. There were conflicting sources, but it was sometime between the mid-1950s to 1961 and operated as a casino until 1995 when it closed. In 2016, it was purchased with the plans to open it as an entertainment and retail venue, but let's just say nothing really substantial has ever happened to it since then. This building needs a serious facade update, some architectural unity, and some decent tenants. I could be wrong, but I believe the Nugget still has a full gaming license. It's essentially a turnkey casino and restaurant just sitting there closed. Can we please do something with this building? Open it or reopen it or repurpose it? I miss the awful. The premier jewelry and loan portion of this property really needs to be sectioned off into smaller, usable retail sections, but that's probably not going to happen. However, the new sushi place is looking really good on the inside. Go check them out. What can you say about Walgreens except it's just a hot mess? I predict they're not going to renew their lease in 2027, so who knows what's going to happen to this building or this bridge that it sits on over the freeway after that. There's not much to say about the Sundowner downtown, except that it closed in 2003 after operating since 1975. Part of it became the Belvedere Tower. The other part has remained empty ever since and experienced a fire in 2008. I think this tower just needs to be demolished completely. I don't think it'll ever turn into apartments. I think this building used to be a part of the Golden Phoenix and had a sky bridge that connected it to what is now the Montage, but I'm not sure, so if someone could enlighten me, that would be awesome. I just know it's ugly and something needs to be done with it. The Comstock Hotel and Casino closed officially in the year 2000 after operating since 1978, suffering years of financial losses estimated at $600 to $700 a year before its closure. Then it was converted into Riverwalk Tower condos, except the first floor never was turned into anything, and it's looking pretty bad. Something needs to happen with this first floor to activate West Street and 2nd Street. This building on 2nd Street next to El Cortez, it just needs some serious help, let's put it that way. I definitely don't consider the Montage to be blight. However, its commercial spaces have mostly remained vacant since it opened in 2009. There was a design firm that occupied the southeast space for a while, and Ruth Chris Steakhouse was supposed to occupy the northeast side of it. However, that never happened. The spaces are so huge they really need to be sectioned off into small retail spaces to be appealing to any kind of retailer before they're occupied. The commercial space at the ground floor of Whitney Peak Hotel's parking garage has been vacant forever, and it really contributes to the vacant, empty feeling of Virginia Street, even if it doesn't really look blighted. Maybe these need to be sectioned off into 1,000 square foot sections or less so they're small, affordable, and appealing to the average retail tenant. This is Reno Revival, formerly Reno City Center, formerly Harrah's, which closed during the pandemic in 2020. It's a mixed-use office, residential, and commercial project. It has been on the struggle bus ever since Harrah's closed. There was the pandemic, there was smoke from nearby fires, which delayed construction over the course of a whole summer. There were cost overruns, there were labor shortages. Eventually, it was foreclosed on, and now it has new owners. So I'm going to be gentle and an optimist here because I do believe it has a path forward somehow, but there's no denying that this 1 million square foot beast doesn't look very good visually right now and could be considered blight. And then there is Siegel Group, who owns several buildings downtown that suffer from chronic vacancies. The Virginians' retail spaces have been empty since the building opened years ago. The Truckee Lane building's commercial spaces are losing more tenants than they are gaining, and its upper floors, where there used to be apartments with residents, have been shut down and empty for almost a decade. And then there's the senator, who also has vacant spaces as well. I think the issue with Siegel Group goes beyond just what the aesthetics are of these buildings. I think maybe it's a management issue, maintenance issue, or they're just asking too much for these spaces. And there are good things happening downtown. There are definitely bright spots, and I'm going to feature those in my next video. So as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you all.